welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be a little short. Had a couple of comments and a couple of people that I've been helping out, new people, asking about builds, what they can do, what the best option is. I'm going to show my build, this is pretty much what I run for my assassin most of the time, my water katana, my bomb pack. Assassin's Charm, which if you want to be an assassin, Assassin's Charm is critical. The Spirit Kunai, if you're able to get a hold of some, probably the most broken thing in the game. And then the Mystic Brigada, so that you can not only heal yourself, but heal your teammates, and it drops ammunitions. This is how I have them set up. The melee damage and Oni damage that's on my water katana, and then blast radius, of course, and status effect damage. Now, status effect damage and duration stack for any kind of poison, fire, whatever you're using on whatever character you choose, and it stacks. So the more you have, the more damage you're going to do whenever you use it. In my assassin's case, whenever I vanish and I poison people, you can take out pretty much anybody, because the status effect damage, I have it on my bomb pack, I have it on the charm, and then I've got the duration on the kunais, and then the cooldowns on my Mystic Brigada. Now, I use that when I'm playing with random people that I don't really know whether or not they can heal me, or if I'm going to have to be able to heal them or pick somebody up. Other than that, I would normally switch that out and use my Demon Seeds. And you can see on my Demon Seeds has Ghost Weapon damage and status effect duration. And I do have Fire Up on them and Deep Bags. Deep Bags obviously gives you more caltrops when you drop them. And Fire Up causes people to get lit on fire once they touch them. And because of the status effect damage and duration on all my stuff, it just eats through the shields and just eats them alive. Even the big Onis, the Oni Lords, and that type of thing, if you can hit them with a couple of concussion bombs, get them a little bit weak, and then drop them seeds on them, it's gonna eat them up. They just can't stop it. This is by the way, Pigman's build. He loves this poison. Everybody knows that. And if you decide to use your assassin as your main person, because he is Pigman's favorite and my favorite, you want to go with your techniques. These are my techniques. Of course, you do have the Shadow Strike, my Toxic Vanish, which allows you to disappear once. And then that's because I have my legendaries in there on my third. Deadly Nightshade. Deadly Nightshade also gives you more damage with your poison. Now, if you haven't unlocked that yet, then you could use Optimist, which is going to give you 50% bonus assassination damage to staggered enemies. So whenever you hit one of the big Onis like that, you're going to do more damage to them. Or you can go with Deft Hands, which the crit strikes and the assassination cooldowns are less. And on the lower area, I do have my other legendary, but if you're not able to put legendaries on them just yet, you can go with Shadow Strike attacks, which is 100% damage. So no matter who you hit, you are going to just drop them. Now, your normal Shadow Storm, which is what I use, gives you 2 extra strikes. That means that much like your Samurai, you have 5 strikes instead of the normal 3. I have my Chain Vanish locked into that slot, because that gives me the opportunity to disappear 3 different times. And if I can find people that are damaged enough to assassinate and then disappear, the poison, of course, will just reactivate, and then you can just drop pretty much any big Oni. I've dropped Oni Lords with it without any big problem. The biggest challenge in this for new players is not understanding the cooldown methods of these pieces of gear. Now, the Demon Seeds are 120 seconds, which doesn't seem like a whole lot of time, but if you're waiting for them to come back up and you don't have Lucky on them, which gives you a 25% chance of just reanimating them right away, 120 seconds is a long time. So, and even on your smokes are all 120 seconds. I do happen to have on my Mist of Yugata, I do have Lucky, which is a 15% chance of instantly resetting the cooldown, which lets you use it twice. And munitions. Munitions drops your bombs. If you're using a blowgun, it drops you darts. If you're using a bow, then it drops you arrows. It really just depends on what you want to do with it. That is the best build that I have. It seems to work very, very well in pretty much all aspects of the game. Your Ronin. Now, your Ronin is very versatile for the fact that you can have a couple, 3 different kinds of builds on a Ronin and still be very effective for your team. This particular build, I am running my Water Katana, which has melee damage and melee resolve gain. My Bomb Pack, which has status effect damage and blast radius. I am running a Stealth Charm instead of my Ronin Charm, because I do have Ghost Weapon damage and status effect damage on here, plus Fire Master. So Fire Master, anything that I start burning is just going to keep burning. And then impactful throws, anytime I hit somebody with a big bomb, or if I hit them with a kunai, it's going to throw them backwards, gives them a little stun, gives you an opportunity to go in with your katana and do some serious damage. My Spirit Kunai, I do have melee damage and ghost weapon damage, super massive, which again, if you throw them these smaller Oni, it'll just knock them backwards. And then Hidden Blades, which obviously gives you 5 kunai instead of the 3 that they normally come with. My Smoke Bomb is cooldown and cooldown reduction on kill. And then I do have Lucky munitions on there as well. As far as his techniques, and this is where a Ronin is very versatile. It depends on what you're doing with your team. If you're going to be a healing Ronin, then you want to just put on the Healing Incense. That is going to be your standard ability. It's going to come back to you pretty fast. It heals everybody in the realm of the radius. And you can use it while you're fighting, while you're not fighting. If somebody's getting a little bit low during a fight, you just drop it down. They're going to be healed while they're fighting. This is a must for every Ronin, no matter what build you decide on, and that is an increased damage to ghost weapons by 50%, which means your kunai do more damage. Your big bombs are considered ghost weapons, so they do a lot more damage. If you decide to use Caltrop, same thing. And that should be the only one you're even looking at on that row. On the third row, I've got resolve increase, so I get an extra circle of resolve whenever I'm out trying to gain resolve. That way I don't have to just totally use up all 3 of them. I can just use 3 and still have 1 and start again. The resolve on a Ronin obviously is key to picking people up, or if you are, in this case, like I've got Flaming Roar on there, and then if you go to the very bottom, you can have Staggered Breath. So if you hit them with the fire, let them burn for a couple seconds, and then you Stagger Breath, you're going to not only knock them backwards, but you're probably going to kill half of them. But if you're going to be a healing Ronin, you definitely want to have Soothing Breath. Soothing Breath not only picks up your teammates, revives them no matter where they are on the map, but it also heals them at 50%. so they can get up and they can start fighting again. It's really up to you if you want to be a fire runner. And a lot of friends that I have here on the channel do prefer being a fire runner. Then the flaming roar and the stagger breath is pretty much the way to go. If you're going to be strictly healing Ronin, you want to make sure that everybody stays upright and fighting. You want the healing incense and then soothing breath. But either way, that's your option, whatever works best for you. The next one is going to be my samurai. Now, my samurai is built for fire. He's a fire samurai. That's all he does. He burns stuff up. And this is primarily the build. I do have a couple of different ways to use him, but this is his primary build that I go into most fights with. Got his water katana with the melee damage and ultimate damage. Now you could go with Oni damage here instead of ultimate damage. I go with ultimate damage because I use my Wave of the Flame when I use my ultimate, which stacks up on the fire damage. So it's kind of, one or the other. Now, I do use a Weightless Spirit instead of using the Forbidden Medicine, which I do have on him if I wanted to use it. And that has range resolve gain and headshot damage on it. On his charm, which is a samurai charm, I do have more melee resolve gain and Oni damage on there. Now the melee resolve gain does stack with the melee damage. Melee resolve gain, whenever you get hit, you're going to gain resolve. His kunai are Ghost Weapon damage and duration. It's also got fire up on it. So whenever you throw it to hit somebody, you set them on fire because of the status effect duration. It's going to stay burning longer than it would normally. And then the hidden blades, of course, which is 5 instead of 3. You always want to try to put that perk on any kunai that you have. It does make a huge difference if you're throwing 5 of those things instead of 1. A lot of times you can't get up close to one of the big onis or the bears. And if you get right in their face and just shotgun all 5 of them, will hit them at the same time, and you can drop somebody. Now, I do use the Healing Gourd, the Bottle of Liquid Courage, just because it will give me more resolve. And I've also got lucky, so it just takes a chance to bring it back to me. So yeah, the other option that you have instead of your Healing Gourd, if you're going to be using a bow, is you can use either a Mist of Yugata, which if you have one, if you don't have one, any smoke bomb will do. Make sure that you have munitions for your arrows and lucky, so you get a chance to get it right back. On his techniques, my techniques, basically, I do have Raging Flame, which is what I use with my ultimate, and I do have Blessed Strikes, so whenever I use my ultimate along with Raging Flame, I get all my health back immediately. Then I have a legendary in the second slot, and then I have my resolve increase, which gives me 1 extra resolve. And the final one, of course, you've got the Hachiman Fury, which allows you to have 2 extra strikes, gives you 5 strikes. And that's pretty much it. Now, unfortunately, I'm not going to show you my Hunter because I don't really use her, unfortunately. I have if you are lucky enough to get the Skippy Stone Bow, good for you. It's a very tough thing to do. But the Skippy Stone Bow is excellent. It really, truly is. I, unfortunately, cannot take the drop, so I don't really use her all that much. But if you have any questions, or if you want to send me a picture of your builds, or have any suggestions about building up your new character, please leave them in the comments. I'll take a look at them. I appreciate it, and you guys keep fighting.